I got my face shield, direct splash protection. This is just one of the PPE equipments for nursing homes that they are being used right now. Let me first explain. Every nursing home has to have a cold zone, a warm zone, and a hot zone. Hot zone means that is COVID positive residents on that hall. Warm zone is when you get new admissions in, or someone been out for a long time at the hospital that might have been one of your residents and that you have to bring them back in. They have to be quarantined for 10 days, used to be 14 days. So that's dependent on your state. So don't take what I say and say, well, he said 10 days. Now, in your state or county, it might be 14 days, so check that before you put it into motion. But it was 14 days, now it's 10 days. Where do you get the help from? That's one of the questions that we had asked at every facility I was in. We tried to go through our corporate, and a lot of corporate questions still can't be answered through corporate. Then corporate say, well, ask state. Well, state said, well, ask your county. So I don't know if a lot of y'all going through a lot of struggles that a lot of nursing homes are going through right now. One thing I would tell you to do, every nursing home I went to, I printed out because they didn't have one or I didn't see one, is what I call the COVID Bible, and that's all the regulations that has been put out thus far and updated by the state mandate. You can't go wrong if you do everything that state asks you to do. So you have staff members or family members. How are you handling this situation? How are you handling visitors? As long as you have your handbook, it will tell you how to. Ours was about 40 pages. Everywhere I went, I just downloaded it from the state and kept abreast of all the webinars that they was having on COVID. But if you do that, then they can't say you was doing something you shouldn't be doing because you're going only by what they are telling you to do. And a lot of corporates are just kind of in limbo, not knowing, exactly what especially if they got buildings in multiple states. How do we do it here or there? So as an administrator, take it upon yourself to find out everything you need to. Definitely use most facilities, I know in Texas, have liaisons. And a couple of my liaisons, even if they wasn't in the area, I just reached out to them because they know the latest in the state guidelines. So always use your nursing home liaisons to help you out as much as possible. But I'm going to run through some of the PPE for the nursing homes, and please be safe. Please use caution. I've been around a lot of people with COVID. Never got it. One reason, I'm not a germaphobe, but I'm pretty close to it. The last facility I was at, they were like, wow, you use double protection. And that's the building that had the most COVID after, the testing started. But hand washing is very important. I got this. This is a hand soap. I just keep it in my kitchen since I'm doing it here at the area. Hand soap. Even nurses I was working with. Well, I use sanitizer. Well, nothing takes the place of good hand washing. So this hand washing, all facilities have hand washing with microbacterial to kill microbacterial infections. But also, after you do proper hand washing, sanitize. This is a little sanitizer bottle I got from Dollar General. But you can't do one without the other. I don't. If I'm in the middle of the hallway and solving a problem or issue, I always just hit the wall where there's some sanitizer. But I never let it take the place of great and good hand washing. One of the things you see a lot of people wearing, it's a traditional cloth mask. Mine's is kind of dirty, but people put it over their face. Now, this is only 35%. If you look at the CDC guidelines, it's 35 to 30% safe. So I know you see these when you go out to dining. If you go, you still go out to eat, or if you go out shopping to retailers. Everybody in America right now is just wearing a cloth mask, but it's only 30 to 35% safe if you look it up. In the nursing home, these N95 masks or 95 masks. The 95 means that it's 95% effective. So not even the surgical masks that you see are 100% safe. 95%, that's what the N95 means. And you don't, this is how I had staff wearing these. They don't want the pressure, which the pressure is going to keep out any germs coming in. They would stick the mask over here and then use a cloth mask. And they'll work like this. You know, all kind of holes you see through here, over here. Didn't even 50%, like I said, 50% had the virus. The correct way, as you can see, you got two straps. You want to put this around your ears. Let's see, like that. Make sure all the sides are pulled out. It is really hard putting on a mask in reverse screen, so if I look crazy, please don't take it personally. Everything is like backwards. All right, so you see it's a seal all the way around where you can't get in. Now, where I was the one that was called Looney Tunes, because I had this on top of it, and I would walk around, do my rounds, make sure everybody was okay. All right, so that is the proper way to use a face mask. Questions that you gotta know what's going on in your nursing home, because your CNAs, family members, like I said, they would come and ask you, when visitation's going to open back up. It started off with room visits where they can be outside and they couldn't come in, and if your building was safe without fear of COVID, then where they could come in as long as there was plexiglass. So I know it's a lot of strain trying to get staff just to help with the visitations. I've been through it. It's really a war zone right now, but good administrators can get through it. I had the unfortunate pleasure of the last interim state and federals walked in at the same time. So got one deficiency, not from the federal, but from state. First deficiency I got in 9 years on a complaint or a self-report. So my journey of saying that I've been 9 years without a deficiency is over. So it was a good run, but I rather got that than IJ, what they were talking about giving us. I'll teach you how to talk with state at a later date, and feds. Never had a Fed person come in on me before. It was an unusual experience. So that was my first federal surveyor to come in. So definitely follow the rules. If you follow the rules, then you won't have, you can just always show your surveyor you following the rules. And on that side, you better be following the rules. For your sake and the residents' sake. You don't want to cause anybody to get seriously injured or harmed or ill, or, COVID is taking lives at an all-time high, and you don't want to be the reason. If you're sick and you're a staff member, stay at home. Make sure we was doing testing every 2 days, twice a week, and every 3 or 4 days, and making sure that our staff was safe to take care of our residents, and they're doing that in multiple facilities right now. So just make sure that you are up to par, and then if you see someone not, tell them, say, hey, you just came out of that room, you didn't wash your hands, or you didn't use sanitizer, or you didn't have a mask on. Make sure everybody's accountable for each other. In some morning stand-ups, I'll forget my mask, and someone will point out, hey, you need to go get your mask. And I didn't take it personally because it's for my safety and their safety too. You don't want to hurt someone's loved one because you didn't wear a face mask or cause them to get sick. The geriatric population is already where they cannot get over certain illnesses like we can, or people younger than me. So especially CNAs, LVNs, RNs, administrators, make sure that you are taking precautions so that when you're in your nursing home, that everybody remains safe. And definitely, if you got anyone with COVID in your nursing home, they have to be isolated, and then those staff members don't need to come into the other part of the facility. It might sound like something that you might know, but I've seen it. And once they work in the hot, they cannot work back into the hot until after your last COVID patient, and then they're supposed to take 10 days off for themselves just to make sure that the COVID is completely out your building. And I know it's a hard struggle, definitely dealing with staffing issues, but use your staffing companies. Make sure you always have at least 3 or 4. Learned that from the last facility. Have 3 or 4 staffing agencies. Make sure that when you do have someone go out, you have someone to replace them. The government gave X amount of money to the nursing homes just because of COVID. Now it's up to us to make sure they use it properly. There was large sums of dollar amounts that I know of that each company got to fight COVID, and part of fighting it is staffing. And a lot of companies I work for, they give additional pay raises if you work directly with COVID. They there to make sure, some of them even buy the food to make sure that staff don't have to go out to eat in the community while they're there, even though at night they're going to go home, or but it at least lessen the chance of them bringing something back. And hopefully overnight, if they did leave and went home for the night and they did get sick, they'll start feeling symptoms immediately. Then going to lunch for 12 to 12:30 or 1, and then coming back and not knowing they were sick and bringing something in the facility. So I do applaud the companies that are using the money wisely, and definitely the PPE, use that as much as possible. Wear gloves. I don't have any gloves here, but make sure the same universal precaution that you would do while you're doing care for someone that's in isolation, or gown up, wear gloves, especially if you're working directly with COVID residents. And I like the guidelines. I can't remember every one of them, but yeah, if you work with COVID, you can't come back into the general population. That protects everyone else. Definitely use your sanitizer. Definitely use your microbacterial soap. Definitely use your N95 mask. And if not at the nursing home, but while you out shopping, if this is the only thing you got, use your face mask. But definitely use your N95 mask while you at work. The surveyor kind of thanked us for it because she seen me double. And if you're working directly with people with COVID, or if you're in that warm area, definitely try to use your face shields and goggles. If you are around somebody that catch COVID, I know one of the rules were from state that if other person didn't have on goggles or eye shield, they need to be released for 10 days because COVID can get into your eye socket. So that was one of the rules. I should have brought the COVID Bible with me, but after I print it off, I guess leave it at each facility I go to. But look up your regulations through your HHSC. Ours is Health and Human Services. It was DADS. I don't know what your state has, but it has all the guidelines for COVID. If you just put in COVID-19 guidelines for nursing homes, whatever state you're in, it should be accessible to pull up. You have to be the biggest knowledge, the biggest person with the knowledge. And if you have the most knowledge, then you'll look like a champ, especially if you got a facility that's COVID free, or if you have COVID cases, it's limited and not spread it. If you have any questions, just put them in the email. Plan on doing a live YouTube probably next Sunday, so we can address some of the questions that you wanted answers to. I'll send out a time that I will be on live for the people who do want to talk with me live. But I do appreciate all that you have done, and like and subscribe like you've been doing. And I'll see you next time. Bye.